Chilluminated my chill minis.
Chillennium.
Get that CD. Chill Millennium.
A new millennium. Yo, excuse me, Chillennium.
First CDs you ever bought? Go. My first two were Willennium and Smash Mouth Astro Lounge.
I bought the EP of Five, the band Five. It was like one of those like they introduced themselves like 5 bad boys with the power to rock you. And then I also bought with it the Bewitched song C'est La Vie on single.
Oof. I don't remember the first two. I remember the first one. The first CD I ever owned was the Nirvana one with the naked baby on the front.
Yeah, classic. Very classic.
But I don't remember.
When I was cool, my first album was like a Weezer album or a Green Day album or something.
Man, I went from like Millennium to Astro Lounge all into like Creed and Three Doors Down and Linkin Park, and that's kind of like where my music taste all through high school went.
I became like a Strokes boy, and then I went into like indie rock and became like an insufferable hipster.
And it hasn't changed to this day. So
that's not true. Now I just have great taste and I'm chill as hell.
hey. Welcome to the Chilluminati mini episode 14 Chill Minis, babies. We got some fun stuff for you today. I think I'm going to start because it's pretty quick and it's not really an article. Boys, there was a TikTok that came out yesterday of a bunch of teens. God, they looked like they were like 16 and they were on this beach and they were like, Rando Nautica, that's the name of the app, right? Like Rando Nautica sent us here, and I guess that sends you on little adventures. And they're like, there's a suitcase. And they're like, should we open it? Shouldn't we? Oh, it kind of smells funny. And then they walk over to it and they unzip it and they take a stick and they pop it open. And there's like black trash bags in there. And like, oh, it smells so bad. It smells so bad. And then one makes a joke. You think it's a body? They're like, oh, I don't know. We should call the cops. So they call the cops. The cops show up. They corner off the whole fucking area and there's a dead body. Someone killed somebody, chopped up the body, put it in a suitcase and tossed it in the water. And it washed up ashore. What an adventure for Rando Nautica. Download the app today. Find yourself a body. Maybe find a serial killer.
I don't know exactly what the deal is with Rando Nautica. It says it's the world's first quantumly generated choose-your-own-adventure reality game.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that means. I never heard of it until this TikTok.
It just means that by telling you to go somewhere, it's like
an adventure?
Creating something there at the point of observation.
What makes it quantum? Why quantum?
Because it's literally about like quantum, like... It's just the act of deciding that place is significant that creates a quantum connection that like makes it significant.
Okay, I see. Reality kind of perception type deal. Interesting.
What?
Yeah. It's an app that you can like go fuck around with.
I'm trying to look it up right now. I can't.
I kind of want to like do it and like film it with a GoPro or something, but we'll see. I don't know, but. They found a fucking body. Like they just went down to this area on the beach and there was a suitcase and they were like, "Is it money?" And then they're like, "No, it's a body."
Yeah, no, it's not. It's the opposite.
It smells like shit. Yeah,
it's the worst. Well, that's all. I just found that fascinating. I don't know if I was a kid and I found a body, I would freak out. But also part of me be like, kind of cool.
Yeah, so insane.
Just it's nuts. Also, my other article is, I guess all through the fighting of the Spider-Man film, Michael Keaton would constantly turn around to Tom Holland and say, "I'm Batman."
I'm Batman.
During all the fight scenes.
I love that. I love that as just like a bit in general.
Right?
Because he's Batman. Like he's
Batman.
He's Michael Keaton. Like you can't, when Batman says I'm Batman to you, it's too cool.
What are you going to do? You're going to say, you know what? You actually are.
It's like Pierce Brosnan being like
007.
A vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. You're like,
I'm so, and just Niagara Falls.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I have something for you guys today that is a little controversial, but I don't want to say I believe.
Okay.
I don't want to say I believe in this, but it's it has to do with current events a little bit, and it's something that's been going around on Twitter.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just like go off of this because I have some stats here, and so Mathis, you're in Boston.
I am.
Area, right? Mm-hmm. And so this year, Boston police recorded
the Boston Bean Boy on camera.
Yeah, they got him smoking that legal weed. They recorded 1,445 complaints in the first week of June involving loud fireworks at odd times. Okay, 1,445.
I saw this on Twitter too, but related to LA.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's everywhere.
Can I say I have had weird fireworks over the past couple weeks on random nights. It's distant, but you can hear them going off.
They happen outside Alex's house. I hear them when we do stuff.
No, that's just someone getting shot, dude. It's not fireworks.
Well, somebody got shot just the other day by my house. But
oh my God, Jesus Christ! I'm so sorry.
Really close to my house. But he lived.
On my step, I watched them die.
He lived.
Oh, thank God.
But compared to last year at the same week, 22 complaints last year. This year, 1,445. Last year, 22.
Well, there is a quarantine and people are bored.
Yeah, seems to have started when weather began warming up. The complaints in May were also up by 2,300%. And it's expected to continue. Same thing in Syracuse, a 335% increase in firework complaints. Looking at New York City, a 920% year-over-year increase in firework complaints for the month of May. But according to all these retailers and stuff, all that it is it's like they're doing all these early bird specials on fireworks. They are making them like easier to buy because now you can park and pick them up. Mm-hmm. Because normally you can't mail a firework, but now that people can order them online and come get them, they're able to facilitate more things, and everybody's home. So not only are people hearing the fireworks more, but they can't go out and do things at night, so they just want to blow shit up. And that's the explanation according to most rational people right now, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's sort of like the hit back against this becoming a popular thing on Twitter. And I wanted to start here because I wanted to acknowledge that this is not something that's necessarily completely supported by facts, but I am going to go into some circumstantial evidence right now that posits a different theory about the fireworks that are happening all over the country right now. Okay. And I think it's a little bit interesting and a little bit scary. So the person I'm talking about is somebody on Twitter called Robert Jones Sr., who has like an MFA in fiction from Brooklyn College, BFA in creative writing, writes in the New York Times, Essence Magazine, Paris Review. He was featured in the New York Times Magazine cover story, Black Male Writers of Our Time. So this is like somebody who is, a known person,
right?
Published author, somewhat credentialed, right? As according to their Authors Guild page. But I'm going to just go through their post that they've been making about these fireworks lately, and I just think it's super interesting. Reporting from Brooklyn, there was yet another night of extremely loud fireworks starting at 8 p.m. and ending at about 2 a.m. This is the second week straight of this, every night during the same period, like clockwork. Last night was the loudest I've ever heard fireworks in my life. It sounded like war. The media is reporting this as though it's just black and brown kids blowing off steam, but I don't believe that's the case. My neighbors and I believe this is part of a coordinated attack on black and brown communities by government forces, an attack meant to disorient and destabilize the Black Lives Matter movement. The goal, we think, is multifaceted. Sleep deprivation. 1. Sleep deprivation as a means to create confusion and stoke tensions between black and brown peoples. 2. Desensitization as a means to get us so used to the sounds of firecrackers and other fireworks that when they start using their real artillery on us, we won't know the difference. It's meant to sound like a war zone because a war zone is what it's about to become. We think this is psychological warfare, the first wave before whatever the next stage of attack is. Some stuff that he goes on to cite is the fact that, like, a lot of the fireworks this year, as noted by a lot of people across the country on Twitter, is that they seem professional level, like huge fireworks that like explode into like flowering fireballs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you guys have seen this and heard this, like cherry bomb level.
I mean, I've heard
theme park level.
I've heard the pops, but I might be just too far out to see anything. I have not seen anything. I just heard. I can hear.
I've definitely seen like fireworks that I would normally expect to see at like a fair.
Damn.
Like way too low over the neighborhoods.
Gotcha.
And sometimes at like last night or night before at 4:30 a.m. I was woken up by like a reverberating explosion at 4:30 in the morning. It's crazy. He's also saying that kids are being supplied these fireworks by the truckload so that it can happen for hours at a time. They think that also firefighters and police are setting off the fireworks possibly in order to like, sort of like stir things up. And there's like a video of firefighters lighting off illegal fireworks in Brooklyn. There's like talk of like all this weird shit, like where like people like the cops in Brooklyn last night were doing this like weird like light show thing in a neighborhood where they were firing off fireworks and going through neighborhoods at like 2:30 in the morning.
So what's the plan though? Like, so say we say this conspiracy theory ends up being true for the sake of discussion here. Then they have one night where they just go into the neighborhoods and annihilate as many people as they can, and we're just supposed to be like, and we'll be desensitized to it at the moment. But wouldn't the next morning we just be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Not quite. So here's a guy from Facebook that he quotes. He says, when I was in the Army, I was in a special operations unit called PSYOP. This was absolutely one of the tactics that we use for disabling the populace. This has been a tactic used by Spec Ops and the CIA in just about every conflict the U.S. has been involved in since Vietnam, and it's extremely effective. And another comment says that the next stage is rolling blackouts and water rationing. So, I don't know. Like, there's just as much people on Twitter right now going around saying, hey, this happens every year. You can Google it and you'll see, like, conspiracy theories happening around a 4th of July every time that's like, this is too many fireworks. This is just crazy. But then there's also posts from people that are like, here's a post from somebody in Flatbush that's like, random guy just tried to sell all this to me for $75. Seemed like a great deal, but I know it's illegal, so I didn't buy. The Henny had to be $20 by itself. It's like a bunch of fireworks and a bottle of Hennessy. And it looks to be a guy, the author of the tweets implies that the person looks like a firefighter from the clothes that they're wearing because they have like the yellow suspenders on. But I think that's a little bit.
I mean, God, yeah. If you're gonna be you're gonna be undercover and you're gonna wear your yellow suspenders, like, I don't know. Yeah. It's weird because I mean, we're in such a unique time right now where everybody's still kind of stuck at home. Only some states are starting to open up again, and even then, people don't really want to go out and people are bored. It just makes logical sense that but I also wouldn't be surprised if there's a little mixture in there of like just provocation. I mean, escalation is a known tactic that cops have used in the past, in the 60s when it came to the race riots and all that other stuff. Like, we already know, like, that's not out of the question. That's truth. That's factual. It happens. But just hope for the best, expect the worst, I guess, is the only option you really have here.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough information here to be like, this is definitely what's happening, but I think it's definitely interesting enough that I would say that if you have a chance if you see people setting off fireworks, because the things that people are reporting are like cars rolling up, setting off fireworks.
Record it. You have a phone in your pocket. Fucking record it.
Or somebody like rolling up and giving you a bunch of free fireworks and taking off. Like, film that person. Like, get footage of that. Like, if that's there, like, I believe this enough to say it's worth looking into. I don't want to say I believe it's happening because it's a huge thing to think about, but like, I'm not against thinking it. And also, like, on the other side, there's also imagine like other things that could contribute to it. Like if you imagine like all these fireworks shows getting canceled, right?
People who like now suddenly don't have a job and a surplus of fireworks and need an extra buck.
There's also stories of illegal fireworks flooding the market at this time. So I don't know. Like, there are things that people are doing differently this year. Like, go to a park. The park is insanely crowded, for example. So you never know like what type of stuff people are going to be doing to pass the time when they can't go out and do stuff. But I just mean, like, I don't know, like, it just seems a little, I've noticed it this year as like a much bigger amount of fireworks myself. And I'm not saying that I think it's a conspiracy theory, but I think that there's enough evidence out there that it could be. And I'm just like, who the fuck sets off a firework at 4:30 in the morning?
Yeah, no,
like,
exactly.
Every night. You know what I mean? Like, it just
people
seems
whose sleep
crazy.
schedules are so fucked from quarantine that they're
and I also like kind of just want to go out with a flashlight and like look next time I hear. But
it also
like I said,
started
a guy
recently,
just got shot.
right? It started.
Yes, it sounds like first week of June. They said.
Yeah, and this is when people start selling fireworks, and you have a lot of people who are doing nothing. May. Like, people are doing nothing with their free time. So
some people are saying that it started though the same week as the Black Lives Matter protests. I think I remember it happening even before that, but I'm not sure. I wasn't like trying to market in that way at the time, but it's been more than like 2 weeks for me. It's been a month and a half for me.
Conspiracy theory stuff, but it's also like
it's just
a little too much.
It's just believable enough that I like give it a little bit more attention than most things that I read on Twitter. But like, it's I don't know. It's just something I thought I would bring up because I'm sure people are wondering about it, and I really want to be clear that I'm not coming down on either side of this argument.
Yeah. It's interesting. Again, if it's happening to you, if you're afraid or whatever, get Periscope, live stream it so people can see it as it's happening. If you're someone's trying to sell you some fireworks, or you see some happen in the background, I want to see that stuff.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know. And if you have any testimonials about it, if you live in New York or you live in Chicago or any of the big cities, LA, that are talking about this, I would love to hear your account of somebody trying to sell you fireworks.
Yeah. And how weird and sketchy it may or may not have been.
Head to the fucking the Reddit and let us know. I would love to hear.
Works for me. That's it for me. That's all you got, Alex? What about you, Jesse? You got anything? You good?
I don't have any stories. Nothing is...
No, the world is on fire.
I'm not going to give you a story where it's like, well, I mean, yeah, communities could be under siege by fireworks. I'm not going to do that. I won't do that to you.
I will.
do it.
I will.
I will say that this week I learned that there's a weird new blood snow in the Antarctic.
What? Blood snow?
You can look it up. Basically, what happened this week is that red algae, one of the terrible signs of us all killing the planet, red algae is now seeping into Antarctic snow, and so the snow has this sort of red slush effect to it. That's the algae, and so it looks like blood in the snow, but really it's just us continuing to slowly kill the planet and not really care. So
yeah, just bleeding it dry.
Yeah.
Sweet. Happy stories for all here on Chill Minis. Thank you guys so much for your support over on Patreon. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back next week with a brand new Chill Mini for you. Goodbye,
Thanks
everybody.
For the money, suckers.
No!
There it is. People miss that, dude. People, every time you say that, people thank you for it.
Why? Dude. Stop it. Call him out.
No, man, they
keep
just
paying us, sheeple.
They're discovering their kinks through this podcast, and you know what? I encourage it. Thank you, guys.
The Chilluminati will rule the globe.
Goodbye.
The Chilluminati will rise up.
The Chilluminati us.
Sounds like a sandwich.
Chilluminati?
Yeah.
I love that.
Hello, my Chill Minis.
Oh my God.
What the hell is that?
How are you doing today?
Not well.
You sound like you're about to schlorp me, dude. What's going on?
No.
Welcome to the Patreon Minisode.
I hate that. I hate it.
What's up, my Chill Minis?
Oh no.
What's going on, my Chill Minis? Today is a new Minisode. I hope everybody's had a good week. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. I got some fun stuff for the Minisode, but how you boys feeling? I know you're sweating up a storm out in LA, both of you.
It's a little hot. It's a little warm. The air quality. There's literally an alert on my phone. Like when you look up the air, it's like it's dangerous outside. Because if you live in LA, you know. I mean, I don't know if you're in the city of Boston, right?
I'm not. I'm outside it by a good distance.
Yeah, I don't know if you had the same experience as me last night. Maybe because you're in Boston. I don't know, but it was from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. It was like World War II was happening outside.
Mine was a distant World War II, but I heard them. It was just distant.
It was everywhere. It was it was the block over for hours. People were just shooting them off. It was insane.
Huh.
I hate it.
I heard 2 pops last night. That was about it.
Well, lucky you, Jesse. Lucky you. How you doing today, Jesse? How's things?
I'm doing great. I had a nice sleep. Everything's fine over here on this side of the city.
I was walking outside and I found solitary fireworks in the middle of the street with no one around them, and I was thinking of my conspiracy theory from last time, just what
could it be? Well, what's conspiracy theory did you bring us today, Alex?
Okay, so I don't know if you know this.
I did actually.
There is a new a mini season, 6 episodes on Netflix of Unsolved Mysteries.
I have had so many people shouting to at least watch the first episode because apparently it's aliens.
There is an aliens episode. I didn't see it as the first one.
Okay,
I saw it as the third one, but I don't know. But there was one case on there that I thought was just so interesting that I wanted to just recount it for you guys really quick as a little preview of the show. Because it's the most recent case, I think, and it's really just kind of an interesting story. It's called the House of Terror in France, in Lyon. Or no, Nantes. It's in Nantes.
Nantes, got it.
Have you heard of this before? It happened in 2011.
I don't think I have. It doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, so it was this guy Count Javier or Xavier, but French. How do you say that? Xavier.
Xavier.
What? He's an actual count. He's an actual count.
Yeah. He's Count Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès, and he's like a noble, like an old blood French noble, and he had 3 kids and a wife, and they were like, beloved, like friendly people. A couple like little things weird here and there, but then they just all of a sudden one day their windows were closed on their house that they lived in, and if you know France, like a lot of the houses are just like pretty old buildings, so for them to close their windows is like pretty significant. Like the neighbor was even saying like if even if they went on vacation they wouldn't close these, right? Damn. So this was like some weird shit, right? And after a couple days, somebody went and noticed there was a sticker on the door that was like, "Please stop delivering packages here." And then people got a letter, like a couple people got letters that were like, "Hey," because this guy and his family, they'd been trying to move to America, like pretty recently. So, people knew that this was something that he was thinking about, and he was saying like, "Hey, I'm going to America. I'm in a witness protection program. Like you guys are going to never see or hear from us for like a really long time. So I just wanted to let you guys all know, like we're going to America and we're going into witness protection or something similar to that where we have to hide our identities." So that's just what it is. Right. And everybody was like, "This is so weird. Like, this is so fucking weird. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like these guys wouldn't do this." You know what I mean? And so they kept sending cops around. And when they went inside, they found the house like empty. They found it like not like it had been cleaned, like it had been like reset to 1. You know what I mean? Like nothing was in there, and at least no bed sheets on the beds. And it was like kind of looked like a house that people weren't living in at the moment. And they kept looking, and then and finally, like after a couple days, they found underneath the porch in the back, like under like a board, they found all 4 kids and the wife like chopped up in bags and like buried Jesus. Catholic style with little like statues, and then like little religious statues, and the dogs.
Oh my God.
So they found them all, but the husband was missing. And so they finally, like, they did some searching or something. I don't remember exactly how they figured it out, but he had inherited, the dad had recently inherited a rifle from his dad who died, who was like, now the pressure was on him to like be the noble.
Mm-hmm.
And he got this .22 rifle, and each of the family members was drugged and then killed by a .22 rifle.
Oh, God,
so,
dude.
It's pretty clear like that he killed them, and he had been training to shoot it, and he bought a silencer. So like, it all sort of added up. But the one son came back from school or something later, and he had to like kill him separate. Totally crazy.
What?
Like he killed the whole family one night, and then he like called the other kid and was like, "Hey, your mom is like hurt. She's in the hospital. You need to like come home."
Sure. And
then he like took him out to dinner and then killed him that night.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And they basically like figured out some way to track him, and they immediately just like through CCTV tracked him like all the way down the coast. He stopped at all these places. He was using his credit card, no problem. He was drinking. He was just like stopping at places, and it was almost like he was stopping at places that were like emotionally significant to him, and he stopped at every single one. And then the last thing anybody saw of him was him carrying like a bag that looked like it had the rifle in it. He stopped at one of those like F1 motels in the countryside that people stop at to like watch the races. And so he stopped at one of those. They see him on the camera walking off into the woods. He stops, turns, and looks at the camera, and then leaves. And there's no evidence that he ever died. Nobody ever found any body. Nobody ever found anything like that.
Wow.
Nobody knows what happened to him. He just dead ass disappeared. But there's been some stuff, like some people in his family think he's innocent. some people think that what he said about being an informant for the DEA is true and that he really did just like leave, but that like something crazy had to happen with his family. Like maybe somebody killed his family and then he had to run away because, whatever. But there was a note that came from him in 2015 because this happened in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah. So he was alive by 2015 then?
No, there was a note that was from him, quote unquote, because it just was like written on like a picture of his family or something, but nobody knows if it's really from him.
Gotcha.
They raided a monastery in 2018. And they found out that no, it was just a monk that was there that like looked exactly like him. And in 2019, they found a man in Scotland, but he like they thought he had the same fingerprints, but he just didn't. Like it was like a partial fingerprint, and they were like, "Could it be?" But it wasn't.
Wow.
It was just like some other dude. So this guy is like either dead in the woods somewhere or at the bottom of the ocean or something, because it was like the town that he stopped in was called what is it called? It's called Roquebrune-sur-Argens, and it's like a beautiful like seaside cliff cave area with forest. So nobody knows, but it's a really interesting case because there's this element of him maybe being some type of like government person. There's this element of him like wanting to go. This element of him buying a silencer. Nobody knows, but it's just so fucked up. He killed his family, and he gave them each like a real burial. Just an interesting case. And if you and I'll tell you this, Unsolved Mysteries, they do a really good job. Like all the cases, they're all really well done and really like it tells you really clearly why they're interesting. And if you're a Chilluminati mini
Chilluminat?
If you're a Chilluminat, head over there and check that out. That show is great. I devoured all 6 episodes in one sitting.
Oh damn it! I'm excited. I haven't seen one episode yet. So
there's a bunch on Hulu too.
Oh really? Okay, cool.
Of the old show.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, mine's less sad and more just kind of weird. Again, world of the weird type deal.
For sure.
This actually happened out in England. The article is titled "Mysterious Group Carrying Suitcases Stumps Police in England." In a very strange story out of England, authorities were left scratching their heads after they were unable to locate a sizable group of people reportedly seen carrying suitcases and walking towards a reservoir. According to a local media report, the weird incident occurred last Thursday morning when Sussex police received several calls from residents who had spotted around 50 individuals seemingly en route to Ardingly Reservoir. What caught the attention of the witnesses was that every member of the gathering inexplicably had a suitcase with them. The weird case became all the more puzzling when officers arrived on the scene and could find no trace of the luggage-toting group. After announcing the confounding call to investigate on Twitter, Inspector Darren Taylor was pressed for additional details, but conceded that their mystifying story had no resolution. He said, quote, "It's all a bit random. Received calls from members of the public that a group of 50 individual adults walking down the middle of the road pulling suitcases heading towards Ardingly. We thought possible rave happening. We thought possible rave happening. Rave happening? Doesn't make sense to me. So carried out an area search, but they had vanished. The officer ultimately mused that the incident was most bizarre, which led his amused social media followers to offer their own explanations for what might have happened. As one might expect, some suggested that the group had been picked up by aliens. Others say that they were likened the case to a scene in the classic film Cocoon. But we'll never know.
That is so crazy.
Isn't that fucking weird? There's a bunch of dudes.
Did we already talk about the suitcase? Did we talk about that?
Tamam Shud?
Here?
Oh, on the beach, the water.
Yeah, we
kids?
did, right?
I think
Tamam
it was
Shud.
last
Yeah, we've
episode,
talked about him.
Yeah, I think.
No, not Tamam Shud.
Oh,
the TikTok suitcase that the kids.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I did this. I did some rando nodding now, and I tell you, it's an interesting thing.
Wait, tell us what happened.
You basically use some type of like entropy, like entropy-based randomizer thing to like generate quantum coordinates that are like randomized. So it's like a new sort of hobby, and you basically like can look for places that are either like a bunch of I think this is right. I'm it's a little bit above my pay grade when it comes to like exactly what it's about. But the idea is, as far as I understand it, is you lock in your location so that it is limiting the area of search to like an area fairly close to you, and then you search using a randomization engine with intent. You have to like have intent.
Think about it.
Yeah. And then and you can either get it's called like an anomaly or I can't remember. It's like a void or a congregation of points. One of them is like a bunch of random points that are like in one area. That's like one thing that you can do. And that's supposed to be like something that's significant. And then there's areas that are like completely lacking any randomized points in them. And those are like considered to be like areas that are like near you physically, but that you almost like your own travels and like natural like path through life never leads you there. So it's like a way, if you want to deviate from your like explored pathways, you want to go to this void
so
area.
It kind of like looks at your GPS path maybe, and like sees where you go and sees where you don't.
It's more like based on the reading and based on what you're thinking about, the void is like an area that's unexplored because none of the random points lead you there. It's like an empty area. Like none of your like intent, your quantum intent is driving you there. You're like purposely going somewhere
to explore it
where nothing is there for you. Like you're going to go see something new.
So like for an example, I've seen people post like they were thinking about, they wanted to find a place with the intent of chocolate, and they found a sign for Hershey's where the point was.
Yeah, I went the first time searching for something that didn't belong there. That's what I was looking for. And I got to a point that was like, when you get off like an off-ramp of a freeway and it's like round and there's like an area in between, like a little round area like in the middle of the freeway, like on the on-ramp.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to get to by foot. So when I pulled up to it, I was a little bit disappointed realizing like that I couldn't get there. But just as I pulled up, there was a cover of Creep by Radiohead playing that came on my random on Apple Music. And like, I don't know if you know that song, but the chorus is, I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Yeah.
And it was total coincidence. And then I chained from that one, using that one as my next spot. And me and Kelly went and we wanted to do trippy visuals. Okay. So that's like what we were thinking of. And we went to the point that it sent us. And we thought it was going to be weird because it was just in like a normal, like little suburban neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But as we slowed down and looked at the house that it was in front of, like the point was like on the front lawn of a specific house. We looked inside the house and it just looked like any of the normal houses, except inside all of the lights were off and it was lit completely from the inside by like 35 different randomly colored neon lights.
Huh.
Isn't that insane?
That's cool.
What? I still don't think I understand how it works, but it's weird. I'll give it that.
Download it, Jesse. I haven't done it either.
It's sort of like a metaphysical, sort of like holistic, sort of
I imagine you go in with a relatively vague thought, and you can kind of apply your context.
You kind of have to just go in looking for your own significance. It's like Schrodinger's.
I guess.
Yeah. It's like the intention is what drives it, and so you have to find your own significance. But
it's about the journey.
Like that was crazy though. Like
that's
that
cool.
The fact that I was like trippy visuals and it was like a rave house. I don't even know what the hell I was looking at. It looked like they were like shooting Instagram pictures inside. Like I've never seen anything like
awesome.
It was in the middle of nowhere.
That's
like
cool,
a place
though.
really close, within a mile that I'd never been to.
I want to try that. As long as it doesn't bring me to any dead bodies. Maybe I'll try with the intent of serial killer, see what happens.
Don't do that. Do it in like Baked Bean Boy, like the
the Boston Baked Bean Boy.
Maybe it'll lead you to some legal bud,
dude. I just think free weed.
Yeah.
And just see where it leads.
Free weed, you know what? It's a call to action. It's not a promise.
It'll bring me to like the state house. Legalize it.
Yeah, it's like Save the Whales. Free weed.
Free weed. Free the weed.
Yeah.
You got anything, Jesse?
Well, I think that two things, really quick things. One, we've been talking a lot about Skinwalker Ranch, and if you want to link, I don't know how often they do this, but I'm going to send you the link right now so you can link it to everyone watching. They have been doing long live streams directly from the ranch on the History Channel YouTube page. So if you want to go watch 12 some hours of this is a 12-hour live stream of the Skinwalker Ranch. If you want to go just scrub through that and see if you can spot aliens, that exists. You can read chat.
I would do that.
Chat is just like, be in chat.
Yep, I imagine.
Yeah.
There's a photo they tried in 2012, I believe it was, on the 4th of July to fire off fireworks in the Skinwalker Ranch to hope to instigate activity. Didn't work. Nothing happened. It's a shame.
That show is crazy.
That's it. That's all I got. That's all you got, boys? Is that it? Is that where the Chilluminati ends?
That's all I got.
Jesse looks like he's reading.
I'm trying to see if it's not a big story. Basically, last month, Poland accidentally invaded the Czech Republic.
How do you
and
do that?
No one's talking about it, but it's really funny. Basically, Poland, the soldiers, I guess, got confused and invaded the Czech Republic. And then the Czech Republic's like, what are you doing? And they're like, we don't know. And so they were like, it's a misunderstanding. So it was, all a misunderstanding. But
nobody died then.
No, but literally what it was is they just
what the?
Why? Why would they? I don't know. They get an order.
I mean, they just
march across the border.
They're like, all right, this is ours now. That's so
hilarious.
funny.
The Polish soldiers mistakenly deterred Czechoslovakia. Are they Czechoslovakian? Yeah, Czechoslovakian citizens.
That's insane.
Wait, is it Czechoslovakia? I don't know. I don't want to say something that's not true.
Right.
But yeah. So basically, it was a misunderstanding. It was cleared up, but it's just
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's funny as hell.
It's the Czech Republic. Yeah.
I just want to make sure because there was a Czechoslovakia at one point.
Oh no, it's not the Czechoslovakia. It's the Czechs.
Right. No, I understand. Yep. I didn't want to say that they were the Czechoslovakians when they're not.
Well, nobody died, and god dang it, Poland, you're so cute for fucking up so bad. That's where we're gonna leave it off. We'll be back next week with some more chill minis and new Chilluminati. I hope you guys have been enjoying. Thank you guys so much for supporting us on Patreon. Obviously, you guys have been the reason we can go so deep and do this every week. So thank you.
Patreon.com/Machuliamus.
Machuliamus.com/chill. Goodbye.
Machuliamus stop.
Hello. So I was going to say, hey, my chill minis. I know Jesse loves when I do that.
Don't do it. You got to come up with something better.
Micheladas.
The enchiladas?
Chill
no.
Minis.
Micheladas. Micheladas.
You know what? Still not as good as an enchilada, but not as good as a...
That's okay. Fair enough.
The listeners have attached themselves to Chilluminati rather nicely, though. Yeah, like little Chilluminauts.
What?
We've had a few people in the Discord and on Twitter say they like Chilluminauts.
Like NAUT.
Like an astronaut, but a Chilluminati.
Right. So they took the knot form.
They put on a helmet and they go into
the weird.
To the weird.
But like Argonauts.
Yeah, but they're like chill. But they're chill.
Like chill.
Yeah. Chill minis.
Chill minis.
Chilluminauts is what they are?
So, yeah, I mean, that's the most popular so far, but if you've got better ones.
They're exploring. They are like the sailors of our podcast is what I'm
yeah.
Okay, sure.
The ever expanding seas, expanding seas of our particular brand of paranormal mystery and murder coverage.
I'll allow it. Yeah, okay.
All right. Hell yeah. We found one that Jesse doesn't hate. How's it going, my little Chilluminauts? Welcome to the Minisode number 16.
I think I figured out what I don't like. How's it going, my little? I don't like that part. I feel like that is
my little.
How's it going, my little?
And then you had like Chillumin, little Chillumin.
Now, when you say it, is it like an L-I-L or are you saying the full little?
I'm saying lil. L-I-L.
What if it's just your children?
Oh no!
Yeah,
there's my kids. There's oh my god, there's my kids. Oh my fucking kids. I'm living with my fucking kids.
Then why aren't we giving them money?
Children.
And then they're your children.
No,
it's got like 4 L's.
That is a cult. that is a cult.
It's fun.
Yeah, but you can make bank running a cult, boys.
I've heard that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can get rich off of that shit. We should do it. All right.
What do we got, boys? What do you got? I know Jesse has been excited. He has a story that he's going to say from memory today.
During the great blackout of 2020, I lost the full. I wrote out a great version of the story, lost it all. So I'm going to try and do it by memory. Bear with me. It happened in May, and it's like a great story. So I don't know if you want me to go first or last, but I got a good one.
Well, I got a quick one. Let's start with this.
Yeah, I have one that's more of an update than its own story.
Same. So, there's been a Dyatlov Pass update, everybody. One of our most popular episodes. People love that episode. The Russian government has consulted with some some specialist in the area, and they have determined officially that the cause of death is nothing more than hypothermia.
What?
That's it. That's the cause of death. That's what killed them all.
Was this an update?
He has an article written in Russian first, and then was translated over into American.
Which
and it was
Russian paper?
Let me get you. It popped up on. I want to say thank you to the Discord. It popped up on the Discord first.
Which Russian publication? I'm not saying I don't trust many of them,
Dyatlov Pass update. The Russian conspiracy theory that won't die.
Also, why would you even need to come out with that unless Vladimir Putin listens to this podcast? Hey, Vlad, nice horseback riding. You're doing it.
Here, I'm going to read this one. This is from Daily Mail right now. Mystery of Dyatlov Pass is solved after 61 years. Russian prosecutors rule skiers found dead after stripping off clothes and fleeing through the woods in terror were victims of hypothermia, not anything else. Led by 23-year-old E4 Dyatlov, the experienced skiers
why are
failed
professionals
to finish.
Who have been climbing a mountain. This is like no big deal compared to other mountains. Why would they even if they started to have hypothermia set in, why would they then run out into the woods and none of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense.
Sometimes you just
none of it makes sense. I know.
Sometimes you let your guard down, sometimes the mountain creeps in when you're not expecting it, maybe you forgot, maybe you forgot how dangerous it can get.
No.
Maybe you rested on your laurels for too long.
All of them,
maybe you just
every
forgot.
single one.
I'm with you. It's definitely so weird. I don't think they should have closed the case, but it's, I'm just trying to think of a way that it could be.
This is the governments suck. This is the problem where it's like,
I know.
Hey, we got the answer. It's the thing we've been telling you the entire time. Bye, everybody. And you're like, what?
But now it's official because we're making a statement.
Like, wait a minute. What? You didn't? What?
It's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't believe it at all. We got during that we've gotten emails over a couple of years too of people who've know people in the area. And the running theory is what I think we all kind of accepted too is weapons testing, sonic weapons testing, maybe something along those lines because it was near a weapons testing area. I still prescribe to that personally, but that's all I got. Very quick Dyatlov Pass update.
Was expecting greatness when you mentioned that. I thought it was gonna be not
at all. Of course not. It comes from the government. What were you hoping for? Clarity?
I don't know. I don't think I'm ready to say what it is. I think it could be a weapons test. I think it could be, I think it could be anything. I think it could be any sort of something, but I think at the very least, the evidence shows that it wasn't just a bunch of experienced hikers fucking up super hard.
Yeah. There's so much.
That's the only thing I can think of that it could actually be that makes sense. And that's just not, that doesn't make sense. It's not satisfying.
The evidence does not point to what there's it's one of those things where we have evidence. It isn't like Roswell where people 50 years later are like, and then I saw the emoji signs and I knew it was from the future. It's none of that. It is straight up. We have evidence from the time period of what happened and none of it makes sense with what they're telling us.
Yep.
Yeah. It's totally crazy. I got another update for you guys.
Oh boy.
Not as exciting as the Dyatlov Pass update, but last week I was talking about the House of Terror, this French crazy murder where this guy disappeared after weirdly professionally executing his family. You guys remember this?
Yeah.
So that was on Unsolved Mysteries, the new version of the show
I need to watch that.
Netflix put out, there's 6 episodes. It's very good. It's very exciting. And as you know, if you watch the old show, a big part of the show is that they reach out to you. They extend an invitation to you.
The telephone number?
To the telephone number, unsolved.com or whatever, stuff like that. But this time, in the age of information, they also included a link just recently, I think yesterday or the day before, they tweeted it out. That is a Google Drive link, straight up just a Google Drive link that you can get from their Netflix, Twitter, or whatever, and it's all the evidence that exists on every case that they cover in the stuff.
Oh,
so
shit.
there's like pictures, like I'm looking at the plates on like a suspect's car, like a sketch, like high res. There's like a breakdown that's like the timeline. And I mean, I don't know how totally useful this is. Like looking at this, it seems like it's like a little bit overly curated, but it is a bunch of stuff, and it's a fun way to, like, if you feel like you want to get involved and like participate, there's like last known footage. There's, just a bunch of little things and like clips from interviews that might be a little bit longer or more explanatory than the ones you see in the show completely. So it's interesting. I thought you might, as a Chilluminati, you might be interested in checking it out.
I had to go on the internet and just now Google, and this is the first thing that popped up, so I know everyone else has looked this up too. How many unsolved mysteries were solved? Because I needed to know, right? Because they keep asking, have you solved? Apparently,
a lot.
260 cases, 34% were solved.
That's not bad. That's not a bad percentage at all.
I mean,
right?
Did you ever watch the show? Do you remember like half the show is them just being like, update, this guy 1 second after we aired the episode, his best friend called and said he has the murder weapon and the guy's in handcuffs at his house. Like,
that's awesome though. But
I also understand how they could only have 34% because also some of them were like, did this UFO take John's cow? And you're like, I guess. I don't know how we'd ever solve that, but okay. Yeah.
But
well,
maybe
imagine
you
if they got a call, be like, I've got alien Gleepglorp in my home. He's my roommate
He's
now.
got the
and
cow,
he was
man.
there.
They're in love.
Yeah, even a day after the new Netflix show aired, they were getting tips.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Go watch the show. I've heard nothing but good things. I got to still watch it.
I just thought it was cool. Like, I mean, you're kind of play investigating a little bit.
Sure.
I would have to admit.
Oh, of
but
course.
it's fun to go get involved and interact with information in that way, and I think that's cool.
I agree.
I have to.
Jesse, it's
I have
on
to turn
you
the
now.
internet off. I clicked on some of the most popular solved cases, and I was like, I can't look at it right now. I'm in the middle of a podcast.
Dude, watch. There's a bunch of it on Hulu you can watch too. So if you ever just want to watch the old Robert Stack or the, what's that guy's name? Robert Medina or whatever
There's
his
only
name
Stack.
is.
Only Stack.
No, the dude, you'd recognize him. He's like a famous, he did it for a while after Stack.
Look, I understand, but I'm saying only Stack.
You know what? I don't know if it's possible to watch, but on Twitch, I'd love to do like a watch party. There's the Amazon original movie.
Dennis Farina.
Watch the Night Sky or something.
Look, it can be done.
The documentary on Amazon?
It can be done.
No, the movie, but we could do the documentary as well. I'm down. If we can do a watch party, I wonder if that's something we could do, but we'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
Jesse, you got a story for us.
It's a good one. All right. So, this is from back in May. Paranormal expert and host of TV show Most Haunted, Mike Covell, was in the UK leading a group of 12 ghost adventurers, explorers, on a night in a disused 19th century graveyard in Schullcoats, East Yorks.
I have literally been watching Most Haunted, not with whoever the fuck that is, but with the OG host, Yvette Fielding. That's so weird that you brought that up. I've literally been watching that like nonstop. I've been watching so much ghost stuff for an unrelated project that I may or may not be working on.
So the group shows up, and as they arrive at this, relatively unimportant site, where the graves are kind of like tilted over and moss is on them.
Are we talking about like paid tourists or like ghost investigators?
Paid tourists who are on a night of ghost hunting.
Right.
And so they're going there. When they arrive, they see other cars are there, and they see a camera crew walking into the cemetery. And they're like, what the? Is someone actually filming here? He thought he had the night. He was going to show all the people that were with him. Look, there's, you can usually hear kids singing Ring Around the Rosie. And there's been sightings of a ghostly monk named Henry who walks around the property. And
Henry's probably super cool.
And he's like, oh my God. All right. Well, I'm going to stay out of their way. I'm going to lead my tour. I'm going to try to do my own thing and try to avoid the camera crew that is probably filming something here. And he plays it off like a joke, like, hey, it happens. I've been places where people have come and, I'm there with my crew, so I get it. Anyway, they're walking around in the cemetery and they start to hear noises and all the people are like, oh my God, is that ghosts? Is that it? And Mike's like, that doesn't sound like a ghost. And the people get scared because it sounds like wolf howling, like wolf howling. And so they want to leave, but he's a ghost adventurer. And he's like, I'm going to go look. So he continues deeper into the cemetery. And that's when he sees it. An entire film crew and a couple having sex.
Oh, they're getting a porn.
Like they walk onto a porn set?
A woman in her 30s, he says, with her knickers around her ankles, saw me, pushed the bloke off, and ran. They were going at it like rabbits, he said. She was blonde, I think in her 30s, still had her knickers around her ankles. We looked at her, she looked at us, and then she pushed the bloke off and bolted. The guy ran after her, desperately trying to protect his privates from the brambles. We didn't know where to look. I'm thankful all 12 people on the tour were adults because kids sometimes come along. One elderly man was so incensed, he was ready to chase after them with a walking stick. This is my favorite quote. But I persuaded him to calm down and eat his sandwiches.
All right, old man, sit your ass down, eat your sandwiches.
Calm down, have your Sammy, buddy.
You ain't gonna catch up to them. It's
Holy
not happening.
shit! What a trip! Can you imagine if that's what happened at the Chilluminati ghost shoot?
We're out there doing our first live special, and we're wandering around, and we turn a corner, and it's just a porn set.
I would have been like, best special ever. Apparently, the city council as well, the councilman or alderman or whoever is in charge, were super pissed because they're like, we've never had anything like this before. And the last quote of the article is, shame, it was a beautiful day, too.
That's very British.
I can't believe they ruined it with that sex.
Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. I love it. That's a story where they went ghost hunting and they thought they heard something and it was just a couple having sex. But the funniest part is there's a huge camera crew, lighters, grippers.
That's what I'm saying. Why'd they run? They had a whole camera crew going. Just fucking.
I don't know. It could have been one of those she was like, I'm doing this just for college bills. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know but she bolted. And so
nobody knows who she was or what was going on.
No, but that man tried to put her on blast. He described the shit out of her. 30s, blonde, knickers around her legs.
The shit out of her. I don't think that she's always walking around with her underwear down though.
You never know, man. Maybe that's a I don't live in England.
You're right.
I feel like that's not an English fashion sense.
I just don't think that's one of the things.
No, I feel
I don't know, man.
But I love that story. I found that because I was like, I'm gonna look up paranormal stories. And that's the first thing that popped up. And I was like, well, there's nothing paranormal about this, but it's hilarious.
And it works. It fits you perfectly.
Yeah. Love that.
Thanks for supporting us, our little Chilluminauts. We appreciate every dollar you give us. It helps us continue to do this and provide these minisodes and so on.
Lets me eat my caviar that I get every week and spoon it into my mouth.
That's what you're doing with your share?
You get caviar?
Do you have Wallace get it into your mouth?
I got a problem, guys. This is a cry for help.
What? I can't tell if you're being serious or not. This is
no. Do you have any idea? No, I am not. Do you have any idea how expensive caviar
but
really is?
I also know you, and I know that if there's anyone I know who would get caviar and just be like,
you're right.
Look, it's well worth the expense. It would be you.
If you guys have caviar that you want to send to me, contact me at fossiani@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for the money. We'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
I thought you were serious.